Iceland. Words can never do justice to this magical land of ice and fire. We were blessed to witness otherworldly landscapes and untouched natural beauty. Join us as we drive along this beautiful country, exploring the colorful city of Reykjavik, walking through tectonic plates, taking in breathtaking waterfalls, strolling along serene black sand beaches, visiting some Game of Thrones and Bollywood filming locations if you're a Shah Rukh Khan fan, delighting ourselves with the Icelandic wildlife, spending a night in the woods, and potentially catching the northern lights. So we landed in Reykjavik International Airport and were greeted with some rainy weather. That didn't dampen our spirits though. However, we did spend about an hour or more at the airport waiting for our rental car, so keep that in mind considering all the rush times during arrival. We then made our way to Reykjavik City, which was just about an hour drive. We're taking in our initial sights of the city as we made our way to our hotel and checked in and got into this cute ramen spot right next to our hotel, Ramen Momo. We desperately needed some hot ramen to contrast the cool temperatures outside. We got our delicious bowls of ramens and inhaled that, post which my husband decided to book a Northern Lights spotting cruise. I've never experienced winds until I've made my way to Iceland. The direct attacks from the Atlantic were not appreciated, but it has made me the woman that I am today. What are we doing?
We're drinking hot chocolate, chasing the Northern Lights.
We did have a guide on this tour giving us all the insights on how the Aurora takes place, why it's viewable only in certain locations in the world. And then, lo and behold, we were greeted by the magical sight of a streak of light across the sky. At first, it just looked like a pale white light. The more our eyes focused on it, we started to see some shades of green as it streaked around us. Despite the killing cold, we stood outside to marvel at the sight, pinching ourselves considering how lucky we were to witness it. An unbelievable start to the trip. Racy exploration. So we started our day exploring Reykjavik City, and our first stop was the Sun Voyager Monument. This metallic masterpiece resembles the shape of a Viking ship, and the artist apparently made it as an homage to the sun, the spirit of discovering unexplored lands. This was a wonderful start to our day, and it was so nice to see incredible birds just playing around these turbulent waters. In the UAE, we're so used to seeing still water, so this was such a contrast. We then made our way to the iconic Church of Iceland with its striking architecture and its organ influences. It was a wonderful monument to explore. From the top, we could see panoramic views of Reykjavik City, its colorful buildings. It really felt like a little picturesque town, and stuck around to hear the church bells ring. The city is peppered with these colorful murals and paintings all around, adding a bit of character. We made our way to the oldest coffee shop, Mokka Coffee House, and had obviously some hot chocolate and a little treat while we continued to walk around the city. Right outside the cafe is Rainbow Road, which is another quirky landmark in the city. We made our way to get some lunch from the famous hot dog stand Viking Pylsur. We're not really big fans of hot dogs, but when we heard that they had a lamb one, we had to pick it up. This is truly not one to miss. We also had it by the iconic church. We then made our way to Sky Lagoon, and this was definitely one of the highlights of our trip. We took the 7-step ritual, which takes us through Icelandic bathing culture of putting our body through the extremes, going from extreme warmth to extreme cold temperatures and oscillating between the two. It really did something to our muscles and our nerves. And first to step into the geothermally heated lagoon, which was truly a warm embrace after all the cold that we were hit with. The second step was an ice plunge into 5 degrees Celsius water, which I didn't do because I was feeling unwell. We then walked into a sauna that truly warmed us and offered such stunning views. We followed that with a walk through some icy mist. The next step involved invigorating our body with this scrub and putting ourselves in a steam room. After that, we were made to drink this juice called an elixir. And finally, we found ourselves back in the lagoon, warm again. To end this wonderful day, we decided to get some comfort food, found this Indian Nepalese restaurant, and treated ourselves to some hot piping sizzlers and some nice curry and rice and some naan, and we called it a night. Day 2, we started bright and early and popped into this famous bakery, Brauð & Co. for breakfast. I was definitely regretting not taking a sweet breakfast because they had a wonderful display of pastries. These are the tea. Our first stop was Thingvellir National Park. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Iceland, and it's a place where history meets stunning natural beauty. One of the highlights of this park is the breathtaking view of the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates and the insane privilege that we had to walk between them. That was definitely not a sentence that I thought I would say. It also holds great historical significance as it is the site of Iceland's first parliament, which was established in 930 AD. Crazy. It has also been an iconic filming location for one of our favorite shows, Game of Thrones, a stunning backdrop for several iconic scenes. For example, when Arya and the Hound were on their journey, when they encountered Brienne of Tarth, a lot of Bran's visions, as well as some iconic scenes from Tyrion's trial. This park's scenery has not only captivated its natives, it's also captivated people all around the globe. We braved the insane winds and finally made it to the top, and the views of the falls were absolutely worth it. It was so serene despite some of its grim history. As you can see, we're super happy making our way out of here into the warm convenience store where we grabbed lunch and a souvenir and made our way to our next stop, the Golden Circle route. On our way, we saw some incredible cows and I had to stop. And then we made it to the Geysir. This is a geothermal area that showcases nature's true powers. I would say, however, it was slightly underwhelming, but it is worth a sight if you are on the Golden Circle. We then made our way to one of the most epic waterfalls, Gullfoss, and somehow we also saw a rainbow as soon as we made our way here. Gullfoss translated to Golden Falls. It is truly a marvel and a super dramatic and breathtaking display of power and nature's beauty. Got the name Gullfoss because a farmer's daughter wanted to protect the falls, and the legend goes that she buried a chest of gold near the falls hoping that it would bring fortune to the land. We then made our way to our special stay for the night at the Bubble Hotel in the Hrosshagi location, which is a little forest in the town of Reykholt on the route of the Golden Circle. I never thought I would find myself spending a night in the woods because it truly felt like you were just surrounded by nature. This day was definitely a highlight of our trip. Sleeping under the stars, potentially seeing a shooting star at night truly altered our brain chemistry. We made our way to grab a quick dinner at a nearby restaurant. I tried the Icelandic version of a cross between a shrimp and a lobster called langoustine. Really, really delicious. I honestly felt like I was in a movie or in an anime. I really couldn't believe my eyes. Alhamdulillah. This is definitely an experience I highly recommend to everyone. We woke up to the serene sounds of birds and this view. We spent some time just taking in the views and reading a little bit and soak in the last bit of sun rays before we check out of our mini paradise bubble. Our journey continues south as we venture out to explore more iconic waterfalls, visit the infamous plane wreck, explore the most unreal Black Sand Beach, and spend a couple of nights in the cute little town of Vik. Our goal of the day was to get to as many filming locations of one of our favorite songs, Gerua, featuring Bollywood king Shah Rukh Khan, and iconic Game of Thrones filming locations. Our first stop, Seljalandsfoss. Yes, I had to look up the pronunciation. The coolest part about this waterfall is that you could climb a set of stairs, make sure you wear good shoes, and have the ability to walk behind the falls. So just experiencing the cascading water, definitely a great place to get amazing photos. After taking the stunning views and getting sprayed quite a bit, we made our way to our next stop, Skógafoss. Not only is this one of the largest and most iconic waterfalls, what sets us apart truly is the lush greenery surrounding the falls and this beautiful rainbow that exists apparently anytime the sun shines. I cannot describe the scenery as anything short of magical, and I truly felt like I transported into a fairy tale. Iconic scene where Jon Snow rides a dragon for the first time with Dany was filmed before these falls. The landscape of this country truly is otherworldly. I constantly found myself thinking if I finally found my way into a fantasy novel. We treated ourselves to lamb burgers. We were really indulging in lamb in Iceland. The journey continues, and now we're on our way to the plane wreck. The plane wreck remains of a US Navy ship that crash landed due to bad weather. However, the entire crew survived. The fact that the wreckage remained since 1973 is really insane and also very eerie against this landscape. It has definitely been marked by visitors, and we were able to spot our city Abu Dhabi on the wreck. And also, this is our third spot in the Gerua tour. We checked into Black Beach Suites, and this was a very cozy stay. But the highlight of it was the view of the Black Sand Beach right from our room, which we enjoyed for a bit before we made our way to the beach. Stepping into the beach is nothing short of spectacular. There was a board that warned visitors to be cautious of sneaker waves. These waves were known to come out of nowhere and drag anyone too close to the water into it. Walking around Black Sand Beach, otherworldly experience, felt extra special because it was spot number 4 on our SRK or Gerua tour. Game of Thrones Eastwatch by the Sea is filmed here. So this was a double winner. We spent some time reading about the legends of the beach and took in the sunset before we made our way in for the night. Today is definitely one for the books. It felt like we transported ourselves into a National Geographic documentary about the wonders of the earth, because today we're visiting Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. It is one of the most wonderful things we've seen with our own eyeballs. A glacier lagoon that is part of the largest glacier by mass in all of Europe. The lagoon's turquoise waters are dotted with floating icebergs, and it creates such a mesmerizing scenery. We were even able to hold a piece of ice that our tour guide said was probably dated 1,000 years ago. We took this amphibian boat tour. This was the first time I was on a boat that moved both on land and water. The guide was very informative about Lagoon, how it was formed. The water levels are rising, so you know. He also mentioned that this was featured in some James Bond movies, but for us, we were over the moon because, again, this was the 4th stop in our Shah Rukh Khan tour. This was where him and Kajol had got on the iceberg, and they were literally singing and dancing in freezing temperatures. We also had the privilege to witness some seals in their natural habitats, chilling and wondering why us humans are pointing our phone cameras at them. It was truly a serene and unbelievable experience. If you could pre-book a glacier hiking tour, that would be even better because you could get close and personal with the actual glacier. Where are we? Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. The magnanimous icebergs around you really made you realize how small you are in this magnificent and massive planet. grabbed a quick lunch. I got a lobster roll, made our way to the iconic Diamond Beach. This is where pieces of ice break off and get washed up by the sea onto the shore, and they shine in the light like diamonds. We walked around and filmed a bit and kept pinching ourselves because we couldn't believe the landscapes that we were witnessing. And as if the day couldn't get any better, we were informed that the Aurora activity for the night was going to be spectacular. So we made our way to view it from the Church of Vik. And when the first streak of light appeared, we knew that we were in for something absolutely special. The magnificent Aurora display that we had been praying for and hoping to witness ever since we decided to plan this trip made its way before our eyes, and the spectacular show that we witnessed, not one that we will ever forget. Alhamdulillah, I cannot believe that we were so blessed to see this. Witnessing this really made you feel so small, but also part of something bigger than yourself. I don't know how to put it into words. The fact that we saw a dance of green and pink across the sky, nothing can describe it. I found myself almost in tears. The only thing that I could complain about was that I didn't learn how to use my camera well enough to capture it in all its beauty. Here were some of the highlights. The next morning, we went up to the church once more to have one last look of the beautiful town of Vik that filled us with so many incredible memories. We grabbed a filling breakfast from a local cafe and then got back on the road to Reykjavik city. Every time we stopped at the petrol station, we also picked up some snacks for the road. On our way, we spotted the cutest Icelandic horses and we had to stop by to say hello. We then made it to Reykjavik city and strolled around for a bit, and I really wanted to try Icelandic fish. So I picked up some Arctic char, and this was very delicious and filling. However, slightly expensive, as is the theme in Iceland. Booked the highly recommended lava show for the evening. Along with our ticket, we also got some hot chocolate and the coolest souvenir, which is a piece of lava from the 1918 Katla eruption, the coolest souvenir I own. The way the room warmed up significantly the minute the lava entered, a fiery experience. The host gave us great history about Iceland's incredible volcanic activity, told us about the various properties of lava, how it flows, how it transforms as it cools down and hardens, how they even conduct these lava shows to begin with. It was super incredible.
As you can tell, just look how quickly the lava is cooling itself and forming an insulation.
We then ended the night back at our favorite restaurant, Indian Nepalese restaurant, and we grabbed a new set of dishes this time, and we called it a night. The next morning, we grabbed a lovely breakfast at our hotel. We stayed at the Hilton Curio Hotel. We made an early start to visit the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. We wanted to visit the iconic Kirkjufell mountain. This mountain was a famous backdrop in Game of Thrones and various beyond the wall scenes, as well as the birth of the Night King scenes. So being big fans, we wanted to check it out, as well as continue exploring Iceland by road. One of the best decisions we made this trip was to rent a car and get around the country on our own. The flexibility that it gave us, it allowed us to see Iceland up close and personal, an experience that I recommend to everyone. There are a lot of wonderful places in the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, but we didn't have the time to explore it. After relishing the sights of Kirkjufell, we made our way to the Ytri-Tunga Beach. I could not find the pronunciation online, so I'm sorry for that. This is a famous beach known for seal spotting. We did try to stick around to spot some seals, but the weather had other plans, so we made our way back to the city to grab an early dinner before our early flight back home the next morning. strolling around the city, I encountered my favorite street art, which really puts King Kong and Godzilla to shame. An epic showdown between the Icelandic puffin and a polar bear. We found this cute hole-in-the-wall restaurant, Mama Rama, where the guy from Chandni Chowk couldn't find home-like food in Iceland, so he set this restaurant up and he named it after his mom, which was so sweet. We encountered this bookstore that gets turned into a bar at night, and the vibe was super electric. Unfortunately, the bookstore part was closed, so we continued walking around the night, taking our last looks at Reykjavik city before we made our way home. In the morning, incredibly, was greeted goodbye by some northern lights, and we made our way to the airport. This trip has truly recalibrated my brain. I cannot believe the things that I witnessed, saying goodbye to one of the most beautiful countries we've had the pleasure and privilege to witness. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.